Hey, as you can see from the title, I finally caved in and I decided to read The Alchemist for the very first time in my life. And also, this month, I also read Osamu Dazai for the very first time in my life. Pretty excited to talk about these two books and how different they are, and what an absolute shock it was to read them back to back. So, pretty excited. Let's just begin. I guess first I should let you know how I ended up reading The Alchemist, because if you guys don't know, I don't really read famous books or like the mainstream ones, you can call them mainstream books. And The Alchemist is like a pretty big one because everyone has read The Alchemist, and I never just got to it. I don't know. It's some kind of weird rebellious thing where I don't like reading the very famous books, and usually even if I read them, I don't really like them. For The Alchemist, I visited a friend this month who just ended up gifting me this book, and I was like, now I have it, so might as well read it, I guess. So that's how I got to it, and damn, I am really, really glad that I gave this book a try. Also, if you don't know, The Alchemist, which I doubt many of you like don't know the book, because I think everyone, if you are watching a book review on YouTube, I'm pretty sure you're gonna know what The Alchemist is or what book that is. But if you don't know, it's this book by Paulo Coelho. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right because I looked it up. But if I'm not, I'm sorry for that. But this is this book, The Alchemist. And this, I, after reading all of this book in like 2 days, that's how much I ended up liking it. I completely understand why this is such a famous book and why almost this is everyone's very first book that they read. Because after giving it a try and after reading it for the very first time myself, and to be honest, after reading it so late, after reading many other books before it, I can understand how you can buy this book and it's just so easy to get into. By easy to get into, I mean that it feels like it is for everyone. I am pretty sure that if you haven't read it, if most people read this book, they are gonna end up just liking it. Paulo Coelho has this way of writing which is just very digestible in many ways, because it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't. It He has this spiritual way of writing and this very simplistic and easy way of writing, where you just get it. You just, when you are reading it, you just get the book and you don't have to like spend that much brain power on the book. Many children, if children end up reading this book, they can even understand the book. That's how simple it is. But me saying that does not mean at all that this book is not for like adults or like teenagers. Or I think this book, at for any age group, it will just work for you, because it's just that kind of book and that kind of style of writing, if you know what I mean. If you have read the book, I'm pretty sure you will understand what I'm talking about. But you haven't, it's this book about a guy, a teen probably, who's just out looking for his destiny, and it's just a story for that. And it's like one of those stories where it has a moral and it has some really upbeat things, and a lot of sad things as well. And this book kind of makes you think about your own life, but not in some kind of depressing sort of way, but in a very happy light. I am glad I read this book now, because I think this is the perfect time that I should have read this book, and it just came to me at the perfect time, and I ended up reading it at the perfect time where I enjoyed it a lot, and it even resonated with me a lot, and I really, really enjoyed the book throughout. I have heard some people and read some reviews about this book or Paulo Coelho in general, where people say that his writings can feel a bit preachy in many ways, which I totally get how one can like think that the writings or the books and the stories are a bit preachy and a bit like too upbeat. It's that thing where when you read a story and you're like, that's not realistic at all. That's just, there is something in that like story that just doesn't feel realistic enough. I think it's a sign of a great writer where you can make even a fantasy story and blend it into a realistic world, where whenever you are reading it, it doesn't feel like too out of the real world. It still is grounded. Yeah, grounded I think is the best word for it. It is still grounded in reality, but it has some mystical aspects to it. By saying that, I don't really want to undermine Paulo Coelho's work, because this book, even though I can see that it can feel preachy to some people, I really don't think that's the case for me, or that won't be the case for many. And many people are just going to enjoy this book throughout and enjoy it a lot. One thing I would like to say about The Alchemist is that when reading it, the style of writing really felt like J.R. Tolkien's, because when I read The Hobbit, if you see my very first review on this channel, my very first book review, when I read The Hobbit and I reviewed that, mentioned that it feels very checkpointy. By checkpointy, what I mean by that is, in a story where a character goes to a place, he has this small journey, reaches a place, there is like a break in the story for a bit, where nothing really that major happens. Then he goes to another place, and there's the journey through in between those places, and then there's a small break. A better way to explain it would be that it is a story in chunks, in little chunks, and with breaks in the middle. And this story also felt like that to me, like J.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit when I read it. But to be honest, I think this book did it way better than The Hobbit. Even though it is just as checkpointy and like The Hobbit, and it has the same kind of story flow or elements in it, but I feel like in this book it's very hard to notice. And in Hobbit, it was very, very prominent, because while reading Hobbit, all I could think about was that checkpointiness in the book. But while reading this, it only occurred to me after I completed it that this book was pretty similar to that as well. And if you haven't read The Alchemist yet, because of the same reason that you think it's too mainstream or you just won't end up liking it, I really, really encourage you to give it a try, because even if you don't like the book, I think there are some story elements and how he carries the story in it that you will really appreciate just as an avid book reader, because you can just appreciate when you see good writing or like simplistic writing. As I have mentioned previously in many videos, that I absolutely love when writing is simple, or anything, art, writing, or any sort of skill where people are able to put it in a very simple manner and a very digestible manner in front of people. And I really, really appreciate that myself. So this book has a lot of it, and I really encourage you to read it. And even if you have children and you are wanting some book recommendations for children which are very digestible and very easy to read for children, I think you can start with this book, because this book is suitable for like almost all age groups, and almost all age groups would have a fun time reading this book. And the second book I read this month was No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. And oh my god, that book hit me like an absolute truck, because I just finished reading The Alchemist and then I started that book. And these two books are so different, because The Alchemist is this upbeat, motivational kind of book, like follow your destiny, you got this, this is how you should live your life and all that. And then you read No Longer Human, and it's just absolutely terrifying. Like, it's one terrifying book, man. I'm telling you, because it just has this feeling of pure like sadness and depression in it. While reading it, you just can't help but feel absolutely miserable for not even the protagonist, because to me, while reading the book, the protagonist was kind of a piece of shit, but he wasn't in many ways either, because No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai walks this fine line between morality and own like virtues, and even self-morality, where it's a very, very thin fine line, and it makes you question your own moral compass while you are reading the book, because it just portrays the protagonist in such I don't even have words to explain the protagonist, because I'm just getting ahead of myself. Let me just explain to you, if you haven't read No Longer Human, what the book is actually about. So in this book, we follow a protagonist, or a guy, from his childhood to almost his death bed, and it is the story of a person suffering from which I understand, extreme social anxiety and this feeling of not belonging in the world, and this feeling of separation from the rest of the world, where he's almost always afraid of the people around him and afraid to take action. Basically, if I could explain it in like a single line, it is the story about inaction and how this guy, no matter what he does, his social anxiety just completely enables him to take any kind of action for his own life, even though he wants to. Throughout the book, while you're reading this guy's story, you just try your best to feel for this guy, and you just try your best to put yourself in his own shoes, and you do feel sad. And then something happened and you're just like, just do something, just please, for fuck's sake, do something. But he just never does it, because he's just unable to do that thing. And it's such a masterpiece of a book, because I don't think I have read something like this in a long time, where it's this thoughtful, this depressing, and just this masterfully written. And from what I understand, No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai is a semi-autobiographical novel where it has little hints to the life of Osamu Dazai, but it isn't really like one-to-one. And I mean, even if it has little hints of his life, I would love to read the author again and read some of his like other works, because it's just insane how miserable this book just makes you feel. And that feeling where you feel miserable and very sad, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it is kind of bad. It really hits you. It really hits that point home that this guy is just so inept of doing anything for his own life. It really hits that home, but that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, when you're reading a book, that's what you want. You want to feel that way for the character. You want to be able to put yourself in his own shoes and feel that misery and pain of that character. I think that's what makes these kind of books like fun, at least for me. And also, I just compared Paulo Coelho's writing to J.R. Tolkien's, and for this book, No Longer Human, Osamu Dazai, I think, has taken a lot of inspiration from Fyodor Dostoevsky, because this book is very similar to Notes from the Underground. If you have read Notes from the Underground or read any kind of work from Dostoevsky, I think you're gonna absolutely love Osamu Dazai's work, because while reading the book, all I could think about was, damn, this really gives me that Notes from the Underground vibe, and it really feels like in many ways they're the same writer, Fyodor Dostoevsky and Osamu Dazai. And funnily enough, in this book, Osamu Dazai actually does reference Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky directly. When I read that line where the Crime and Punishment is referenced, I was like, oh my god, it makes so much sense that these two books are so similar, because I think again it's that thing of inspiration, and I think Osamu Dazai really took a lot of inspiration in his own writing from Dostoevsky, and it really shows. I absolutely loved the start of this book, because in the start of this book, the narrator, who's narrating the whole book for us, discusses these three pictures of a single person in his childhood, in his teenage years, and at the end of his life, at the like ending years of his life. And when reading that whole part, those whole like description of those pictures, because after reading that whole scene, it just set up the tone of the book very well. And after reading that first scene, I got an idea of what I was into and how the rest of the book was gonna be and how dark it was gonna be. But to be honest, I don't know how I always end up doing this, and it ends up happening to me where in the same month or back to back even, I read some two completely opposite authors and with completely opposite writing styles. Because as I said for The Alchemist, that it has a very digestible kind of writing style, I can't say the same for No Longer Human by a long shot. Even though the writing is simple and the story is kind of pretty simple, it's not easily digested, because it just has that viscerality to it. I don't even know if that's a word, but that's what the word I'm going to use for it. But overall, I absolutely loved reading these two books back to back, because of the contrast that these two books have in them. It was such an amazing read. And while like I came out of The Alchemist so optimistic and so like upbeat, and I was like, damn, that was such a good book, I came out of No Longer Human with the completely opposite kind of mindset, and I was like, fuck dude, what did I just read? Like, what the fuck did I just read? And I was still saying the same thing, that what an awesome book. Well, that was it for my thoughts on the two books. I know I didn't post anything else for the whole month of June, and I was just MIA for the whole month. But it's really damn hot, man. It's 50 degrees Celsius for all you Fahrenheit people, because god damn it's hot. Even recording this video, I delayed it by 2 or 3 days. I'm out of No Longer Human with the completely opposite kind of mindset, and I was like, fuck dude, what did I just read? Like, what the fuck did I just read? And I was still saying the same thing, that what an awesome book. Well, that was it for my thoughts on the two books. I know I didn't post anything else for the whole month of June, and I was just MIA for the whole month. But it's really damn hot, man. It's 50 degrees Celsius for all you Fahrenheit people, because god damn it's hot. Even recording this video, I delayed it by 2 or 3 days because I just couldn't sit and record. Even now I'm sweating bricks and it's just too hot, but you have to do what you have to do, and I have to do the book reviews for you guys and for myself even, because after reading these books, I really these videos are kind of like outlet for me as well, where I can just sit back and articulate my thoughts on the books. But yeah, and I think for the month of July, I am going to read Crime and Punishment. I know that I have been promising reading Crime and Punishment for the past 3 months. I don't know, I just haven't gotten to it, because it's that thing where I know I'm going to absolutely love the book and I just keep delaying it. I even started it. I read some few pages and I just let it go this month again, because I was like, I'm just going to save it. I'm just going to like save it, that one day when I'm feeling it, I'm just gonna read it. It's that kind of thing. And I'm pretty sure most of you feel that way for many things as well, where you gatekeep a certain thing and you just delay it so you can end up reading it afterwards. But I promise that this month I am finally going to read Crime and Punishment, and hopefully some other book. I'm not really sure. And also one thing, this month I also tried to read Friedrich Nietzsche. As I said in my previous video, I tried to read Beyond Good and Evil, and that book was just too heavy for me right now, and I just stopped it because I don't want to read something like that right now. So I might try it again later on. But Crime and Punishment for sure this month. I promise you that. And if you have some other book that you want me to read or want my thoughts on, do let me know in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you probably before next month's book review, with maybe like 1 or 2 videos in the middle, but I don't promise it. Bye bye.